Hello, hello,
Hello, good
Agola.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we are just about to begin. Since the number is still low, we'll
Yes.
give them an allowance over. The next 6 minutes, we will begin.
Okay. You have shared. You've seen it. You're seeing it.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, come up again.
Uh, can you be able to see my slides?
No, 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 actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. Agola.
Yes, we're just about to begin. Let's give them the last 1 minute that is remaining.
At least now you can see something.
Yes, yes,
All right.
fine. Hello and good afternoon to all who are already in. My name is Joshua from Capable, and I would like to take this time to welcome you people for the webinar for today, Building Generational Wealth. And I hope you people will learn and also gain something by the end. So even as we begin, you can share the link to your friends, to your colleagues, so that they can also get to learn today. Our speaker today will be Christopher, and I hope people will enjoy it by the end. So I'll take this time to welcome Christopher. Maybe you can introduce yourself better, more, and yes, you can proceed thereafter. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Christopher Mutua. I am an economist and a banker with wealth of experience in banking sector. I am also in the field of counseling psychology. I'm an addiction counselor, and I love all that. Today we are going to, because of time, let's just jump into our today's webinar with the title Building Generational Wealth and Retirement Acts That Work. Gentlemen, if you allow me, we run short of time because we're going to have this session for approximately an hour. And so I think it's in the best of interest, we just start. On our subject, building generation wealth and retirement acts that works, there has been, since time immemorial, there has been a lot of talk on how to start, build and sustain generational wealth. And well, a lot of times it's been towards the prism at looking at it, it's been towards whether you have assets, and especially here in Kenya, we talk majorly about pieces of land and probably maybe cattle and all that. But when planned and executed properly, it can boost the financial well-being of your family for generations to come. Starting, building, and maintaining generational wealth requires strategic planning, very thoughtful planning, and excellent money stewardship. Although it's important to keep an eye on the goal at the end of the day, what you want to achieve after you retire, and what you leave for your generations. Don't shortchange yourself in the process. That is, don't overlook yourself in the process. You deserve to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor too, because in business, what we say is that the most important thing while you are working And this is a question I normally like ask students. I also teach. I normally ask students, when you earn your salary at the end of the month, what is that top priority for your salary? And to answer that question very simply is that your top priority when you earn your salary is to pay yourself. So it's important that you deserve to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor while working. So we have key strategies. And I'm going to highlight the key strategies that is in a nutshell of what we're going to be discussing about. And I'll start by what is that which is so important as you plan, as you build or establish generational wealth for you and your generations to come. One of the key things is that please remember to have financial literacy. And this is, what do I mean by this? Please try to educate your members about money management, issues on investment, personal financial management. Have open discussions with your people, especially your children. And this is, I think, where we a bit fail as Africans, vice versa, like the Indians and the Arabs. We don't really engage our young ones, and especially when they are small, on issues on finance. I don't know. To us, it's like a taboo. Okay, that is my take. I don't see many of blacks, engaging their young ones on, financial discussions. And it's very, very key. The other one, and we'll get to that deeper, strategic investments. You have to look into how are you going to diversify your portfolio as you try to look into the next 10, 15, 20 years to come? Because you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So you will have to look into, of course, real estate, something like stocks, real estate, bonds, and all that, and equities. And this approach helps to, you're looking at mitigating risks and optimizing returns, overly, at the end of the day. Of course, then we have what we are used to, real estate investments, which is well-established strategy for building wealth. Properties can appreciate over time, of course, okay, depending on where it is, and generate rental income. Well, again, depending on where you have placed it and contributing to long-term financial stability. Yes, there is debt management. Is debt a good thing or is debt a bad thing? And I think we'll have discussed it with my colleagues and we'll have that subject another time. Is debt a good thing or is debt a bad thing? So debt management, avoid high interest debt and prioritize is elimination at the end of the day if it's possible. Although, again, you can practice responsible borrowing where you ensure financial resources are allocated towards wealth generating activities, and that can easily service the debt. Then we have, of course, estate planning. How now do you plan to transfer what you have to the next generation? Clear succession plan, establish structures, structure assets to facilitate the seamless transfer of wealth, because this is where we have a lot of murky and married issues and legal cases, like in Kiambu and some other places. So this approach minimizes potential challenges, ensuring that your family financial legacy endures and it's not put into chaos. Entrepreneurship, consider starting a business that can be sustained and can be passed over to the next generations. Especially like I see some big farms in America which have lasted since 18 something to date. So the generation now handling those kind of farms, they are the 6th or the 7th generation. And that is what I'm talking about, entrepreneurship, where you consider starting a business that can be passed down to future generations. So we will start. We will start. Generational wealth and retirement acts, investing in Kenyan real estate. How do you do it? How do you do it? Investing in Kenyan real estate. How do you do it? These are things that this chronology I put down here. It's something that you can actually be able to look at, and it can work very well for anybody. You start by save for a deposit. Of course, you have to build some capital because it's capital intensive. So build on enough equity for your first land or housing deposit. Although we are having schemes that have come up, and with for example, the government of Kenya with the UDA team, they're building those houses, and that's another way where you pay a small amount, and then you can choose on a particular class where you want to get in, because I understand there are many tiers in their construction site. There are those ones, one single bedroom, there are double bedrooms, and the big ones. So it depends, and again depends on what mode of payment you want. There are those ones who are putting a deposit, and then you pay in the next 30 years, where like the repayments will be tagged like for like rental income. They can be converted to your rental income. The others where you're putting a lot of money, there are guys who are paying cash, depending on their capacities. So save for a deposit, secure financing if need be, and understand an arrangement is being made by the government with some of the banks. They're negotiating so that people will actually be able to take up mortgages and be able to afford those loans, and then you continue paying the bank. The other thing is that you need to buy wisely. If it's not this government property, if you're buying like from other friends, you need to contact due diligence to verify property ownership and zoning. We are not very honest citizens ourselves. I think that's how we are wired, although it's not the best of practices. But so it's always good that you do due diligence, and need be, please work with specialists on this area of property acquiring, especially land. We have landlords who sell land to 3 or people, the same piece of land, and it's not very nice. But then of course, when you acquire, you have this you can generate income, rent out of the properties to provide retirement income, and probably build wealth for future generations. If passed on well, and when you have the right structure, we'll talk about that as we go along. So investors, one, make a pooled investment to generate mutual wealth over time. If that is possible, you can actually do that. Then we are starting a family business, and then being able to develop it, being able to build on it and sustain it. And how do you do it? Assess opportunities, identify businesses, niches that align with your skills and resources and market needs. Remember, of course, don't start a business with this mentality of me too, where because your neighbor started a mitumba business, you also jump into that. Because your friend, started on a particular kiosk and is doing fine, you jump into that. Why? It's because really you have to think of a need, a gap. You have to identify a gap, or you have to do what you call value creation. Again, don't start on a business because you have a group of people in your church, and you say that you're going to be convince them, and they'll be your members. They'll be your customers, or you have a big clan, and you are banking on that. That may not be a very, very good way of looking at it. It's good to do a cost-benefit analysis, track the progress through data. You have to think deeper when you're starting in a business. Business is purely about making money out of service interest. I say it is transaction meeting another transaction. It is transactional. It's a transactional thing. Through market interactions. Don't and again, I normally don't encourage I don't encourage members to, to stay or to get stuck in a business which is not growing. Don't stay in a retarded area for too long. Please polish your idea before you get into a particular business by thinking deeper. Look for businesses that have a high market entry issues, because they normally have a highest margins at the end of the day. That's a precursor. Where you're getting into a easy place, popular kind of a business, that is not something you should go for. Go to businesses where it is not very easy to penetrate into get that market. Those are the best businesses. That's how I look at it. And remember, business-based relationships, it's not about selling your product. It's about building, going forward, it's about building relationships. So sales will take care of themselves later when you build very good relationships. So stop doing what is easy and popular and start doing what is right. What is right. So get registered, of course, legally register your business with relevant authorities, county government and Chamber of Commerce and all that. Involve family, define roles and involve family members according to their strengths. Of course, depending on what you are doing. And people are talented differently. There are some of your members who do courses aligned to what you are doing, or they will have passion to what you are doing. Bring them on board. Plan for succession. Establish a succession plan to ensure the business stays in the family in the long run. Harnessing chamas and circles for collective growth. So this is one way of generational wealth creation, and it's a knack that works well. By joining a group, band together with like-minded Kenyans and pool your resources together. And this is like for us Kenyans, chamas and circles are doing quite well for us. Save consistently. This requires discipline. Build collective savings through regular contributions, and put your art there and your interest there, of course. Learn together. Improve financial literacy through shared knowledge and training. So attend meetings like when they are called by the cooperative societies or the people from the Ministry of Cooperatives call for trainings. Please make sure that you attend so that you understand what you are into. It's always very, very important to upskill yourself on the business, trades and business, economics and what is happening in your area of trade. Invest as one. So make a pooled investments to generate mutual wealth over time. It has been done for quite a long time by some old men from Mount Kenya who long time ago they pulled resources together, and today they own some big properties in Nairobi and those big cities in Kenya. The next one is generational wealth creation on retirement acts, investing in Kenyan stocks and securities. This is a very interesting area. And it's an area where 70% of Kenyans, I would say, more than 70% of Kenyans have very little knowledge about investing on stocks and securities. What can I say about this? Let me say that one is you need to have passion to learn the basics. Please, you need to educate yourself on stock market and government bonds and fundamentals by researching, attending webinars, attending trainings with Nairobi Stock Exchange, with Strathmore University. I know they have a lot of trainings on a lot of basics on stock market and the government bonds. You also, for you to trade on stock markets and government bonds, you need to open an account with CMA licensed brokerage accounts, CDC. You also have to build a portfolio, balance risk and return by investing in shares and government bonds, and do not put all your eggs in one basket. Of course, you have to get to Emma Kiba. Again, you also need to buy a few on equities. You also bond and all that. You have to, and it is good even after you read. And this is not rocket science. You can always, by the way, go through issues and buying shares is, by taking a bit of time and read a bit of account books on these firms, and look at their capital, look at how much they are making in terms of profits, look at probably the kind of dividends they are paying, and what probably, like, very quickly, for shares and stocks in the year 2025, this year, what are some of the areas in where you can actually be able to buy? I'm not a stockbroker, but I do a lot of research, and I read so much on the account books and how they are doing. And one of the areas you can't go wrong, just to mention but a few, like the Tier 1 banks, like KCB, Equity, Cooperative Bank, HFCK, for processing companies, I would rather probably you go for Unga Limited, milk processing plants. Well, Safaricom, yes, Safaricom is doing fine. Production and manufacturing, which ones now? Probably Centum, Kakuzi, tea companies. Of course, I'm not forgetting manufacturing like Baburi, KBL. Yes, these are some of the examples. But you need to research well, yeah, and probably you need to consult investment guys. They can actually be able to guide you properly. So stay invested, commit for the long term to grow your retirement wealth. Then of course we have prioritizing education and financial literacy in Kenya. You have to invest in education. You have to invest in, like I was saying, build a strong academic foundation and technical skills that increase your earning potential over a lifetime. Please make sure that you go to, probably you can even go for small certificate courses, maybe if you have time, diploma courses on these particular areas on investment. Master financial literacy, master, please. And for education, it gives you the power and capability for you to be able to understand, conceptualize these abstract materials. Master financial literacy, learn to budget, how to save, how to invest, and manage debt to make informed money decisions. How can you do this? Probably by once in a while getting into capital markets basics, you read something on them. Nairobi Securities, they have workshops. We have free online courses, Mshule, Safaricom Academy. These are areas where you can get materials on mastering financial literacy. For any business, one of the key pillars is bookkeeping. And so you need to learn on budgeting and tracking tools. You can use budgeting and tracking tools, monitor income and expenses and savings to identify opportunities for growth, in terms of the surplus. Don't flash it on tours and travels and holiday. That may not be in tandem with growing your business. Although I'm not saying that you don't do it once in a while, maybe once in a year, if the surplus can allow. And I repeat, if the surplus can allow for that. Attend local investment workshops. To deepen your knowledge of stocks, bonds, and real estate. We have quarterly seminars at Nairobi Securities Exchange. And of course, we have soccer trainings by Cusco and other bodies. Of course, we have tech and share with family. Improve on your skills in technology. Technology is the in thing, especially artificial intelligence nowadays. You need to pass down financial habits, goals, and values to children and to your relatives as well, if they are also involved in in your endeavors, in the business you are doing. And let me say, it's pretty paramount that that you learn you upskill on IT, because the majority of business transactions and and a lot of what we are doing now in the business circles it's involving now technology. So it's very key. So you also upskill on that, and you also tell your people to also upskill on the same. We also have creating an estate plan, determine your preferences, decide how you want your assets distributed upon death. I mean, when you will not be there, how will your assets be passed across? Maybe you write a legal will by documenting your wishes in a will that meets Kenyan's legal requirements. People don't like doing wills, and I think this is one way we can avoid, protracted and long cases, which are, to me, like I look at them in Kenyan's law courts, and they run into tens of years, even to 20 years. I think this is not fair. This is not good for your people. You leave behind. So you can always do these things when you are alive. Name an executor, appoint a trusted individual institution to carry out your instructions when you are not there. Consider trust, using a living trust to protect and benefit your heirs and dependents. That works well. But you also need to be educated on the same. You need to learn something. So look for a specialist who is acquainted with that kind of a material and share with him. Safeguard your documents, store your copies of will or related documents securely. Empower your legacy and plan today for your families tomorrow. One way, I think, is lodging them with either your trusted lawyer, or you can keep them in a bank. Yes. Utilizing life insurance and pension vehicles. Evaluate your needs. Calculate the amount needed to replace your income and provide for them. Once you retire, for example, for those who are working, and of course you'll retire, there are things you ought to look into, and especially now that I've been earning 120,000, 150,000, 200,000 when I retire, because you are pegged, you are living to that kind of a lifestyle. So what will happen when you retire and this paycheck will not be coming at the end of the month? So you need to plan, and one way is take insurance, yeah, either by Britam or Kenyan Alliance and the rest. Get life insurance covers, obtain a policy to financially protect your loved ones from unexpected losses. And one of the things that really disturb the people retire is on health. So contribute to a workplace pension. It's very important. So increase your contribution to your employer, provide retirement scheme, and it is working. And I hope the Kenya government will be paying retirees and in good time. Open a personal plan, invest in an individual pension plan to supplement your nest egg income. That is apart from maybe the pension. You can also pick on an SSF and put good money there, so that you will have some money to keep you going and not to keep you worrying every day where you be getting your next meal, or worrying when you fall sick what is going to happen to you. Another area which as you retire may not be necessarily on building generational wealth, but it may disturb your generational wealth. It is an how to prepare yourself mentally. You need to prepare yourself mentally. Um, and one way I think it is good when you're about to retire, please attend these trainings where they talk about retirement plans, especially on the mental health part, because, well, I have seen practically, because I'm in that field, I have seen guys when they retire, shortly after they because of loneliness and they were not ready. Sometimes denial and this title was vanish, and these many calls you used to get, they are no longer there. And especially for men, because we retire earlier than our wives, you'll be left alone in the house, and the roles reverse. You used to be commanding the house, now your wife starts commanding you at the end of the day. Mzee, ukiachwa hapo jipange. Make sure you do, make sure you do, make sure you attend. Yeah, the story will change. So it's good that you have something, and you also prepare, mentally, because I've also witnessed cases where these retired men also bring issues with their wives because they are still working. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on there, so it's good to also prepare yourself mentally, so that you don't disturb people at the end of the day. Retirement acts at work in Kenya, please. In a nutshell, I would tell you to look at evaluating your needs, calculate the government's National Social Security Fund, and maximize on your savings. Get life insurance to obtain a policy to financially protect your loved ones from unexpected losses, and invest for growth. That is either way, real estate, stocks, and government securities. Open a personal plan, invest in individual pension plan to supplement your nest egg, and monitor your progress. Track your retirement account and adjust contribution to stay on target, because you need, of course, to have set a target for yourself. There is a question that normally comes up, and it is, how do you compare real estate to money market investments in the Kenya retirement context? And which one will you think you can go for, probably? Real estate, of course, it's got its own advantages, and it's gone on, shamba ni shamba. It provides a sense of security. There are some places, of course, if you have a prime location like Kiambu, Nakuru, Tetu City, the other Techno City, and Machakos, there are exponential land value increases. And I've read that some places here in Kenya, the land is appreciating more than even some places in Europe. Yeah. But there are challenges, because real estate is capital intensive, and it has liquidity risks, especially land takes long to sell, unlike financial assets. A retiree may face an emergency, and especially when you're retired and you fall sick, and converting that land into cash. You can be land rich and cash poor, and that's very dangerous when you retire. Can I give an illustration? A guy called Kamau bought 2 acres in Nakuru in 2008 for 2 million, and today the value is 12 million. However, he struggles with hospital bills because selling takes time, and I'm highlighting the liquidity issue, how to convert your land. That may be an issue. On the money market funds, liquidity can withdraw within. You can actually be able to convert your funds into liquidity very fast, 2 to 4 working days. And they have low entry. They are not capital intensive. With actually 2 as 1,000, you can start buying shares. Of course, they have decent returns. As at 2025 this year, there are some which are yielding at between 12 to 15%. better than even some bank savings accounts. Yes, and of course there are challenges on the money markets. They have lower growth potential. No exponential jackpot like in real estate appreciations so for some instances. So which is better? Or what do we do now that we have the option of real estate and Kenyans measure success by how many plots you have. I don't know whether you know that. At the end of the day, this is very, very common question. How many plots do you have? And have you bought a plot in town? How many shambas do you have up country? But I would say this, if you'll ask me, which is better? For stability and liquidity, of course, you need MMFs win. Retirees need cash flow for daily expenses, medical bills, and emergencies. For wealth preservation and legacy, you need real estate. A retiree who wants to leave behind generational wealth, land for children benefits more from real estate. So for me, balanced approach, hybrid, yes. Mix the two, that's the way to go. Hybrid portfolio, I would take that. If a retiree has, like, for example, 5 million savings, you can go for monthly passive income of 23 through treasury bills, treasury bonds, fixed deposit, 2.5 million in Nakuru outskirts, yes, long-term investment, you can buy something there. Mkiba, treasury bonds for diversification, which you can retire within 3 years, yes. Because all this provides an hybrid of cash liquidity, long-term growth, and safety net. I think we agree on that. Do we agree on that? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up something which is a bit challenging. This is a Gen Z generation, which has come up now. I understand they are like 60% of our population. It's coming into adulthood in a very different economic and technological environment compared to older generations. For us, traditional wealth building tools like land, banking and pensions and brick and mortar were the in thing. Always very sufficient and attractive. But for Gen Zs, I am skeptical. Gen Zs have come up with different models in terms of doing business. They are more on technical digital entrepreneurship and content economy. This is a new model. Fractional and accessible investments, the likes of cryptocurrency and blockchains and crowdfunding and cooperative investment clubs. These are things they are looking into, and probably tech-enabled businesses ventures. Gen Z is more likely to build online store than a physical one. Then, of course, we have financial literacy and early investments. They're a bit quicker on that and better compared to other generations. The wealth building mindset shift, moving from consumption to ownership. And learning to leverage debt wisely. Probably not avoiding it as such, but using them for asset growth. Sustaining generational wealth, institutionalizing wealth, building family trust, structural investments groups and foundations, not for individuals, hustlers. And I'm looking at them to be better in successional planning and educational transfer because of their literacy levels. So for me, Gen Zs won't build wealth the way boomers did. as we were in brick and mortar, land, acquisitions, sticking on to jobs and building on pensions. I think the way forward is digitally native, diversified, that somebody is in the office doing something, he has some side hustle, online business, and they're also community-oriented investment models that they are coming up with. And so to them it's a bit different. To them it's a bit different, and so they will be looking at how to do it. I think differently going forward. Research needs to be done on that. Yes, research needs to be done on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 10 minutes, probably we can engage on that presentation. I can now allow your reactions. But just to mention this, be greedy when other people are fearful, especially when you want to invest on equities and shares. Please remember, be greedy when other people are fearful, and be fearful when other people are greedy. What do I mean? When people are going for shares or whatever, and everybody is rushing to buy, please don't buy at that time. When people are not buying and they are averse on buying, that is the time you should go and buy. Although don't do it for quick returns, do it as an investment. It will work well for you. Let me give you an example. For example. Kenya Power and Lighting shares were trading last year. I think sometime last year. They were trading at 2 shillings. And do you know how much they are trading sometime this year? 13 shillings and 50 cents. Which means if you bought 2 million shares at 2 shillings per share, you would have spent 2 million. And if you sold the same, 1,000, you'll have spent 2 million. And if you sold the same today, your return will be 13,500,000. And you make your cool 11,500,000. Well, it doesn't work like that always. Please don't rush to do that. Like I said, do your homework well, consult widely, and please think deeply. Kenya Re, last year, a share was 1 shilling and like 0.06. This year it is trading at 3 shillings and 50 cents. And you can see that. Can I say this? There is one gentleman. We don't hear of him so much, and we don't hear of his assets so much. Because he has no insurance funds, he has no hotels, he has no big schools, because we look wealth in terms of big properties, standing tall in big towns. Emilio Maikibaki. Because this is where he went to do business in. And my friend Didi Nyoro is also doing very well in this field. It's actually a very good area. Only that if you learn the intrigues, the nitty-gritty details about it, you learn the ropes very well. It can do marvelous for you. So take your time. And time is always there. Create time. Read books on how companies are doing, analyze, interpret, make sense out of them. If you find they are complex, pay a visit to guys in banks. They are there, some investment advisors. We have also investment companies. Take yourself there. And just go ahead and buy. Who was this guy who bought? I don't know. He bought at what amount? Itungwa bought shares from Kenya Power and Lighting at 150 million, this controversial money. I don't know whether he was buying when they were lower, because if he was buying when they were less than 10 shillings, I think he has made good money. He has made good money. So sometimes just buy, stop thinking too much, look at company shares and probably the profits that have been declared or the dividends that they declare. No, of course, not all companies declare the dividends. I think you know that. But it is just requires a serious research, and you'll be dry and wrong. I think we have been left out for a long time on those areas of securities and bonds and shares, and I think it's because we are pretty less informed about what happens. So let's jump there. It's just laziness. We can wake up and do and read. Start buying small books from bookshops. Read on how you can do this business. Hello, Ogola.
Hello. I'm
Yes,
getting,
I think you can open the floor for members to react.
as it's fine. I think they are able to speak. So if there is anyone who may want to say something, can just come up. I think they are enabled to speak.
Yeah. Any question? Probably anything you want clarification? Any comment? Alex, James, Eric, Amandi? All right. Can I say, well, still, our real estate performance is doing pretty well. There's a projection this year. I was listening to this lady wa hii project ya manyumba hapa Kenya jana usiku kwa TV. She was projecting that by the end of this year we will be at US dollars 773 billion. And up to 2029, they are projecting a growth of 5.12%. And in metropolitan cities here in Kenya, they are saying that these properties are likely to go up this year from last year at a rate of 5.2%, which is good growth, which is pretty good growth. So as much as I'm saying that the issue of brick and mortar, we should be a bit skeptical about it going forward. Again, for metropolities, if you're in metros cities here in Kenya, Mombasa, Nakuru, Naivasha, Kiambu, Nairobi, these are good places to invest in. But don't go to Kitengela and you go to buy a plot, 4 or 5 kilometers away from Kitengela, converting that into liquid cash, maybe a bit of a challenge. Maybe a bit of a challenge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Can kindly speak on this debate of dead capital. You see, the people that, for example, are building their homes at those rural places, okay, they're highly discouraged maybe to build early, and they are told
Yes.
to consider building maybe a bit later.
Yeah.
But my question around it is, you see, if for example you don't build now and you build late, you will still, for example, if the house was to cost you maybe around a million or 2 million now, when you
Yes.
build maybe 20 years later,
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be around maybe even 5, 6, or 7.
True.
So whether you delay the process or
Uh,
not,
uh,
I don't
yes.
see how can you argue out that case?
Yes. You see, if you're going to have a delay in building at home, then it means now you'll have to take up construction in town. Not that you just sit and relax and say that I'll go home and build in the next 20 years or 25 years from now. Now it means now you package yourself and put up a house in town, whether it's a residential, whether it's a business or commercial building. That's what you should substitute with. But don't just delay and do nothing. That will work against you. That will work against you. And like you have said, eventually it will end up, if it was cost you 2.5 million, it will end up costing you 7-8 million in the next 15, 20 years from now. And it won't make sense. So it's a balance. I won't go to do it at home. And by the way, I think to me, personally, I went and did a construction at home. I think how many years now? 20 years down the road, and it cost me like $1 million. And I look at that million that time. If I had the idea and if I knew, and I would have put up a residential house in town for $1 million that time. Today I would be scooping like 100,000, 80 to 100,000, and that's good money. Surely, with that kind of money, today I would have gone home and started building slowly, with the proceeds. That is the thinking. So you can actually, either you were not able to put up a structure in town, buy a plot at these metros where, projected, increase per year, it is high. It's very high. Whether increasing by like 200, 150,000, 100,000 per year. If a piece like 50 by 100 is increasing by that rate, project in the next 20 years, si itakuwa pesa mingi. If you buy at probably at 5 million, in the next 20 years, itakuwa several millions. So you won't even have an issue constructing at home if you dispose it, or you cut a piece of it and you dispose. Am I making sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Because I actually regret. I shouldn't have spent that kind of money that time to do that. And it's a structure, by the way. You 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 only go there like less than 30 days in a year. So it's a waste. You just go and dump money there. You can go and put a very small thing. Go and put a very small thing. I know there's a lot of pressure, especially in African culture. Jamaa anafanyanga bank na hana nyumba. This guy works with Kenya Power and Lighting. This guy works with KPA. Na hana nyumba. Stop buying that kind of a story. Because if you made good money and invested that, like in this treasury, in these equities, in 20 years, 25 years, you will earn a lot of money. The same money you wanted to go and put up a housing at home, utapata ni pesa mingi sana. the end of the day. And there are still some guys even today who are holding huge sums of monies in their savings account and um, in their current accounts in the banks. I don't know. I don't know why. So what you are doing, you're only reaching the banks because they lend that money to the people who are salaried and they are earning. And no wonder banks are declaring billions every quarter. You hear KCB is declaring 28 billion, in a particular quarter, another 20 billion another quarter. Yeah, because you guys, your money is just lying idle there. And so they make use of it. So that's why I was saying, I think it's good to think wider, think outside the box. If you have some money in your savings, in your current account, please think of how you can invest that money into a portfolio that can be earning you very good money, good returns. Yes, another. So Joseph, Pagola, Joshua.
Yes.
If they probably don't have anything to raise or say, I think I'll take this opportunity to thank them for joining and listening to my presentation, and also want to thank myself for the opportunity and thank Kapapul for the chance, and say next time is also an opportunity. Yes, very grateful. Thank you very much. Back to you, Ogola.
Okay, so I would like to thank you, Christopher, for your time and also for giving us that good advice and teaching. And thank you once again for creating your time to share with us this time. And also like to thank the team for having created that time and also learning from you, Christopher. And I wish and I hope also that you people have learned a lot. And moving forward, we are going to take our chance and opportunity to practice these things. Otherwise, I wish you people all the best as you look forward to practice these. And I hope that you people will enjoy it by the end. Otherwise, I wish you a good afternoon. So just to ask whether there is anyone who may have something to say even before we end it or close it. Maybe any concern from Christopher before we end it?
No, I'm good. I'm good, brother.
Okay, maybe from the team who are in attendance, is there anyone else who may have something to say before we close it? Since there's none, I would just like to wish all of us a good afternoon and nice time. Thank you, and have a nice moment ahead. Okay, so we're done, and people will be free to leave.
All right. Bye-bye.